Hello everyone, welcome to Court with Krissy. This dad really methed up. I'm guessing because of his actions, he missed the birth of his 5th child. Will tears shed help him get out of jail and drop the no contact order? Watch and find out. I hope you like it. Court with Krissy is now in session.
All right, so good afternoon. All right, and Ms. Langley. Ms. Langley, you're muted.
No, let's try again, Your Honor. He's here on a new case plus the case that's on an SOC, and he is prepared today to stipulate to violation of the conditions of the SOC and agree to revocation.
Okay, thank you. And the SOC was on the case ending in 471, the harassment domestic violence charge?
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. And the stipulation is that there's been a violation of the terms of the SOC based on law violation. Is that correct?
Yes, and treatment and compliance with probation conditions as well. So.
Okay, thank you. We'll note the stipulation to the violations. Based on that, I will revoke the deferred or the stipulated order of continuance. I'm reading the police report now. I have reviewed the report, which indicates that on the 16th of May at approximately 1945 hours, police had contact with Charlene Duggins, otherwise known as Charlene Burnfield, who had called to 911 and reported that her husband, Mr. Burnfield, had threatened her and threatened to punch her and also to cut her belly open. She was pregnant at the time, and she believed he would or could carry out that threat. Officers contacted Mr. Burnfield. He didn't assert the same facts. It appeared the officer, he was trying to minimize the argument that he did agree they had been having. Based on the facts as they appear in the police report and in the most favorable light for the city, I will find Mr. Burnfield guilty in the charge of harassment, domestic violence. Mr. Sharp, city's sentence recommendation.
Thank you, Your Honor. There's a bit to go over here. Mr. Burnfield presents with limited criminal history, but there are pretty concerning circumstances surrounding all of this. I believe he has 14 days credit. City's asking for those 14 days with the remainder suspended for 2 years on several conditions. Most of them are on the original SOC. We're still seeking the same rehabilitation. Sorry, I'm just checking my notes here. That would be no new law violations, no possession of firearms or other dangerous weapons, no possession or consumption of alcohol, marijuana, or non-prescribed drugs, no going to bars or taverns, chemical dependency evaluation and follow through, and UAs until proof of treatment is in with the court. City's recommending a $240 probation fee, and we'll defer to the court on the remaining legal financial obligations. And finally, the city is asking for the court to impose a domestic violence no contact order as a post-disposition order. I want to cover that briefly because the court did not order one pre-trial. And Ms. Duggins, aka Burnfield, is here, and it's fortunate that we can have her input. I don't know what her position will be on that order request, Your Honor. But looking at this, city's making the request even if she's opposed. And I'll point out there's a civil order just recently saw it in Superior Court. He's in the county jail on allegations of having violated that already. But as the court read, the threat was pretty darn serious, especially the cutting open the belly while she's pregnant. And before Your Honor came out here, Ms. Burnfield was turning her camera to show Mr. Burnfield a baby. And can't help but wonder if that baby wouldn't be here if he'd carried out that threat. Ms. Duggins shared with police that he hadn't been himself through the course of probation or pretrial status in the SOC probation. We've learned that substance use has really gotten on top of Mr. Burnfield, and it appears to be the primary driver of this behavior. The court, I believe, received a pretrial services violation as recent as last week, positive UAs for methamphetamines. City believes that Mr. Burnfield is struggling to overcome his addiction, and in doing so, and also in this struggle to comply with probation, is presenting an ongoing danger to the community, especially this family with quite a few children. They are struggling enough as is, and don't need that within the same four walls as them. So city believes that the UAs until he's showing treatment will be important to monitor his sobriety, but that's probably not enough to ensure Ms. Burnfield's safety on its own. So we believe the no contact order at this point would be appropriate. City would be open to reviewing that once he has proof of treatment, but he hasn't complied with that yet, and it's a big deal.
Thank you. Ms. Langley?
Most of the recommendation is agreed. I would, I'd like to be heard on the no contact order, but I'll defer maybe to Ms. Burnfield first. As to the rest, he's willing to do this. He wants not to live like this. This family has had a really hard time. They have 4 kids. They've been, a while back, I've represented him for a while. They were living in a car. They were all the family living in a hotel room. So it's been a struggle, and the money's been a struggle. That was a problem for compliance. I think he has options that he can follow. I would just certainly ask the court not to impose any costs, because anything this court imposes is just going to be in his way of getting treatment or take money away, whatever money they have from his family. Other than that, it's an agreed recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Burnfield, anything you'd like to say?
Just I'm grateful for the people that I do have in my life and my children, and I would never intentionally hurt anybody in my family or anybody for that matter. I have been going down choosing the wrong doors for sure, and I'm hoping that with help that I'll start picking the right door to go through.
All right. Thank you.
I love my children. I miss my children. I've never been away from my children this long ever. My wife either. I've never been away from her.
Yeah. Okay. Ms. Burnfield?
Hey.
Anything on the no contact order you want to say?
So I know I did petition the courts for a restraining order. That was, I felt like the only way that I could get him to understand how serious that I was when I told him, we can't keep doing this. We can't keep going in the same circle where it's running into the same problem. And I do feel like that he is understanding that now, that he hopefully is going to be looking into doing some treatment, whether it be outpatient or inpatient. But like the past year and a half, this has not been my husband. I don't know, the way he was acting was somebody that I've never seen him act like before. Sober William he's caring, he's compassionate, he works hard for his family, and the kids do miss him, and we miss him. I miss him too. I mean, this is the most like my husband he has sounded in almost a year and a half now.
All right. Thank you.
I do love you, William.
Okay. He can't respond to you right now, so there's a no contact order. You don't want to get him in trouble, or he shouldn't want to get in trouble, I guess is the way to say it. Mr. Burnfield, anything else?
just to give me a chance. So all I can ask for, I'll do whatever. I'll do anything to get back to my family. Whatever is required.
All right. Yeah, it struck me listening to you and say that, maybe those are just empty words that you uttered to your wife about hurting her and hurting your soon to be fifth child. And so, you say, I would never hurt my children. But every time you make the choice to use, that's really what you're doing. You say you'll never hurt your children, but you, in your intent to use, you are hurting them. And if you continue that, you're dooming them to a life like yours if you're going to turn into a meth addict, if you're not already one. I mean, that's hurting them. And, having them have to understand that you threaten mom and their soon to be sibling, that hurts them, whether it's physical punch in the face or it's just the emotional punch in the gut that their dad would rather use and treat them the way that your wife says that you normally treat them when you're not using. So I want you to tie those two things together. I say this so that you can understand. You may be struggling with how to cope with the stress in your life. You have learned, at least when you're sober, that turning to drugs or alcohol or anything like that is be any sort of answer. All it does is have you ending up in a place like jail. And luckily, having not caused harm that you seem to have threatened in this case. So that choice, you should excise that choice from your list of choices about how you respond to the stress of being evicted and the stress of trying to support a family and provide a proper, life for everybody. So when you do that, you are hurting. It's as if you were just slapping them each time you do it. And I just hope you get that sense of yourself, and that might help stop you. I understand how powerful the urge can be, and you're going to need something equally as powerful to help resist that urge. And understanding what you're doing to your family, hopefully, is it. Okay, I will impose 14 days in jail. I'll give you credit for 14 days served. I will authorize your release today. That'll leave 350 days of jail suspended for the next 2 years. And will be imposed if we have to have conversations about this. During the next 2 years, you're not to consume any alcohol, no marijuana, no meth, no other non-prescription drug. So you're just going to have to say no, 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 no to yourself when you get the urge to do that because the stress is too much. You're going to have to find something healthy to use to respond to that stress. You're also not to possess any firearm or other dangerous weapon, not to enter any bar or tavern, have no criminal law violations. You are to, and I didn't even look, Mr. Sharp, has there been a substance use evaluation done yet?
I don't believe so. I think the city's motion to revoke was that there hadn't been anything done yet on that front.
Okay. So I'm going to do two things here, Mr. Burnfield. I want you to get a substance use evaluation and comply with any treatment recommended. And I also want you to get a mental health evaluation and comply with any treatment recommended, because the stress that you're facing, clearly from what I'm hearing and from what I see on your face over the camera here, I think is probably the driver of your drug use. And it's really dealing with the mental health issues, how to respond in a healthy way to the stress and anxiety that life brings for folks. That's where you really need the work. So And you may need the chemical dependency work to help you resist the urges, but I think that mental health treatment is going to be important. So I want you to do both those things. And those are going to be problematic because you're going to be told you have to pay to get the evaluation. You're going to have to pay for treatment and all those things. So you're going to need to find work to support that effort and, find housing for your family. I understand how, that seems like a mountain there, but there are resources out there and you just have to start asking, be humble, say, I'm here, I need help, and ask people to do that, and you'll find the people who will.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I am going to put you on our intensive supervised probation for this purpose because I think leaving you out there on your own is not going to work. I think you're going to need somebody who can help you find the resources and who can sort of be on this walk with you as you go through these things. So I want you to report into our probation office within 48 hours. So by close of business on Wednesday, I want them to have heard from you. And on the document that I'm signing, there is a phone number there, and that's the number you call. And then they'll tell you when they want to see you in person. But I want you to call there by close of business on Wednesday.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I'm just being told that you may now have some medical insurance coverage, which might assist in your ability to get evaluations. So that may be of some significant help. But anyway, make sure you mention that to your probation officer. And you're to submit to your analysis test as directed. And I am going to, at this point, enter the no contact order. And I'm going to do that because I want to get you highly motivated to get into that treatment. You seem to me to be like a dad who wants to get back with his kids. That's what you've told me.
Yes, sir.
You're going to have to prove it. You're going to have to prove it by getting yourself into treatment, showing that you are really motivated to do the right things. And when you can do that, then I've heard what your wife said. She does not want the no contact order. She wants you home. But I won't make the change until I see you make the change. I need to see you taking some positive steps. When I do that, we can talk again about changing that order. Now, I will say I can't change the Superior Court order that is currently out there. The order that I'm signing today, I can change, and we can address that. But I need to see from you a commitment to do something entirely different than what you've been recently doing. Okay. All right, Ms. Burnfield, did you have any questions for me? All right. Thank you both. All right. Good luck, Mr. Burnfield.
Thank you.
Yep.
Your Honor, a minor paperwork issue on the notice of ineligibility to possess firearms. I think I might have failed to check the box for which qualifying crime.
Okay, I'll take care of that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Did we dismiss the other charge?
I don't think I've made that motion, Your Honor. Case ending 5316, city is moving to dismiss as part of the agreed outcome today.
I appreciate Ms. Langley reminding us of that, and I will grant the motion to dismiss case ending in 316 and order release on that.
Thank you,
Okay.
Your Honor.
You're getting out of jail, Mr. Burnfield. Now it's going to be up to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Do right things. Okay, thank you.